There comes a time in every person's life when they realize that being underestimated is not a curse, but a hidden form of preparation. Too often, we look at the way others dismiss us and think it means we are unworthy, unqualified, or unimportant. We take their silence or their doubt as a verdict against our value. But in truth, when others overlook you, they are simply blind to the process happening within you. What feels like rejection is often a redirection into strength, resilience, and discovery. Think back to a moment when you poured yourself into something, perhaps a project, a relationship, or a dream, only to feel invisible. People may have walked past your contributions or even taken them without acknowledgement. The sting of being overlooked runs deep because it challenges our natural desire to be seen, affirmed, and validated. Yet, what if the very seasons of invisibility are the ones that shape you most? What if the times you were underestimated are the soil where your greatness begins to grow? Consider the life of a seed before it becomes a tree. No one praises the seed when it is buried underground. It looks insignificant, covered in dirt, forgotten beneath the surface. To the outside world, the seed has no power, no beauty, no worth. But under the soil, a miracle is happening. The seed is cracking open, its roots are spreading, and its foundation is being built in silence. If it were exposed too soon, it would wither because the seed needs that hidden time to become strong enough for the light. Likewise, being underestimated forces you into seasons of hidden growth. It compels you to dig deeper, to grow stronger roots, to learn patience, and to trust a process that cannot yet be seen. The truth is, people's opinions are limited by their own perspective. They may underestimate you because they cannot imagine what you are capable of becoming. They see you in one season of your life and assume that season defines you. They saw you as a seed and they believed that was all you would ever be. But what they missed is that seeds are designed for transformation. You are not fixed, you are not stagnant, and you are not bound by their limited view. Every time you were overlooked, every time you were told you're not enough, it became fuel for your preparation. Those moments teach you how to endure. They teach you how to stand on your own strength, not on the applause of others. Think about the people who changed history, those who shifted culture or built something extraordinary. Almost every one of them had a season of being underestimated. Innovators were told their ideas were foolish. Leaders were told they lacked the qualifications. Dreamers were laughed at for daring to believe in something bigger. If they had accepted those underestimations as truth, we would never have seen their impact. But they allowed those dismissals to prepare them instead of destroy them. They leaned into the silence, into the hidden work, and they let their growth be their answer. Being underestimated is also protection. Sometimes, if everyone recognized your potential too soon, you would be exposed before you were ready. The hidden seasons keep you safe from premature pressure. They give you room to make mistakes quietly, to refine your skills without an audience. To develop resilience without the weight of constant scrutiny. It may feel unfair when people dismiss your worth, but it may actually be grace. Because when the time comes for you to step forward, you will not be fragile. You will be strong, steady, and prepared to carry what is yours. When you feel underestimated, you have a choice. You can internalize their doubt as rejection, or you can use it as confirmation that you are still in the middle of your preparation. Preparation requires patience, but it also demands perspective. You must learn to see silence as training. You must learn to see every dismissal as an invitation to prove your strength to yourself, not to them. The world may overlook you. But if you allow that to shape you into resilience, the day will come when their underestimation no longer defines you, your growth, your transformation, and your persistence will speak louder than their words ever could. The preparation that comes through being underestimated has a way of stripping away false motives. When no one claps for you, you learn to keep moving anyway. When no one validates you, you learn to build without needing applause. And when no one believes in you, you discover the power of believing in yourself. That kind of preparation is priceless because it builds a foundation that cannot be shaken by the opinions of others. Once you know your worth apart from recognition, no one can take that away from you. So when you are underestimated, remember that it is not the end of your story. It is a chapter where the groundwork is being laid, where unseen strength is being built, where patience and character are being formed. The rejection you feel is not rejection at all. It is a divine preparation, a season designed to shape you into someone who can rise above every dismissal, every doubt, and every moment of invisibility. Would you like me to now expand Keynote 2 in the same style up to 800 words so the whole speech becomes a series of deep, connected motivational parts? Every person will experience a hidden season, a time when your effort goes unnoticed, your name is not celebrated, and your value feels invisible. These are the times when it seems like no one is paying attention. No one sees how much you're giving, and no one recognizes how deeply you're growing. And yet, it is in these very seasons of hiddenness that some of the most important work in your life takes place. It is in the quiet, unseen chapters that strength is forged, character is formed, and resilience becomes your second nature. Think of a winter forest. From the outside, it looks barren, lifeless, almost forgotten. But beneath the soil, roots are stretching deeper, preparing for the spring to come. Trees are storing up energy, rivers are gathering strength beneath frozen surfaces, and the silence is not emptiness, it is preparation. The same is true for you. Your hidden seasons are not wasted time. They are powerful moments when you are storing up the strength you will need for the days ahead. The challenge is that we often confuse being unseen with being unworthy. We assume that if no one notices us, we must not matter. But that is not true. In fact, some of the greatest growth happens away from the spotlight. When no one is clapping, you learn to work for something deeper than applause. When no one is watching, you learn to be faithful to your own purpose rather than depending on the validation of others. That kind of growth is powerful because it means that when your season of visibility comes, you will be steady, unshaken, and authentic. Hidden seasons also teach you patience. It is so tempting to want everything now, the recognition, the breakthrough, the success. But if everything came instantly, you wouldn't have the roots to sustain it. Imagine if a tree sprouted to full height overnight without growing its roots. The first strong wind would knock it down. Growth takes time, and hiddenness is a gift because it slows you down long enough to build a foundation. You may not realize it, but every time you stay consistent in the dark, every time you keep showing up when no one notices, you are strengthening those roots. You are building a foundation that cannot be shaken. There's also something beautiful about how hidden seasons reveal who you truly are. When you are not performing for an audience, you get to discover your authentic self. You find out what drives you, what matters to you, and what you are willing to fight for. Without the pressure of constant observation, you have the freedom to make mistakes, to learn quietly, to refine your gifts in private. Then, when the time comes for you to step into visibility, you are not performing. You are simply being who you've already become. Think of some of the most powerful stories we know. An artist practicing for years before anyone hears their music. An athlete training in silence long before stepping into the arena. A writer filling notebooks that no one reads until the day their words finally reach the world. In each case, the hidden season was not wasted. It was essential. It was the very reason their visible season had depth, weight, and impact. Without the quiet years of preparation, the visible moment would not have had power. Your hidden seasons are also a form of protection. Sometimes you are not overlooked by accident. Sometimes you are hidden on purpose. There are things you are not ready to carry yet. There are challenges you cannot yet face. There are responsibilities that would crush you if they arrive too soon. So instead of rushing you into the spotlight, life allows you to grow quietly, to strengthen your inner world, and to build resilience without the weight of constant expectation. What feels like delay may actually be grace. What feels like invisibility may actually be safety. Another powerful truth about hidden seasons is that they build hunger. When you've had to wait, when you've had to work without applause, when you've had to keep going without recognition, you develop a fire inside you that those who had everything handed to them will never know. That hunger becomes fuel. It pushes you to keep moving when others give up. It gives you the endurance to keep climbing when the road gets hard. And when the time comes for your breakthrough, that hunger makes sure you don't waste it because you know exactly what it cost you to get there. It's important to remember that hidden does not mean forgotten. Just because the world doesn't see you yet doesn't mean you are not being prepared. Just because others overlook your effort doesn't mean it is not making an impact. Seeds are buried before they bloom, and just like that seed, your growth is happening in silence. One day, the roots you've built will push through the surface, and what was hidden will become visible. And when that day comes, people may think your success appeared overnight, but you will know the truth. It was years of quiet faithfulness. It was nights of unseen labor. It was patience in the face of silence. That hidden season was powerful, and it was the foundation for everything that followed. Do you want me to move ahead and expand Keynote 3 next in the same way? 800 words of deep motivational flow. There is a quiet kind of power in letting your success speak for you. Too often, we waste energy trying to prove ourselves to people who were never meant to understand our journey. We explain, defend, justify, and sometimes even shrink ourselves in order to be accepted by those who cannot see our vision. But the truth is, you don't need to convince anyone. You don't need to chase validation or beg for recognition. The life you are building, the growth you are experiencing, and the resilience you are shaping will eventually speak louder than any words you could say. When you've been underestimated, dismissed, or overlooked, the temptation is to fight back with explanations. You want to show people that they were wrong about you, that you are capable, that you are stronger than they believed. But think about this when a tree grows tall and wide. It doesn't stand there shouting, "Look at me, I'm a tree." Its very presence commands attention. Its height, its shade, its fruit all testify without a single word. That's what your life can become. Instead of arguing with doubters, you can let your results, your peace, your strength, and your transformation do the talking. Imagine working in a job where no one seemed to notice your effort. You show up on time, you put in the work, you go the extra mile, but your contributions are taken for granted. It feels exhausting and thankless. In those moments, you might feel like speaking up, demanding acknowledgement, or reminding people of what you've done. And while there is value in standing up for yourself, there is also something even more powerful: choosing to keep showing up and allowing your consistency to be your testimony. Because eventually, the fruits of your labor become undeniable. People may try to ignore it, but they cannot argue with results. Your success is not something they can silence. The beauty of allowing success to speak is that it carries a weight that arguments never could. Words can be doubted, but evidence cannot. Someone can question your dreams, but they cannot question the reality of your accomplishments. Someone can dismiss your potential, but they cannot dismiss the transformation they see with their own eyes. That's why it's so important to stop wasting time trying to prove yourself to people who will never be convinced. Instead, put that energy into building, growing, and moving forward. The day will come when even those who ignored you will have no choice but to notice. Your success also speaks differently because it's not just about achievement, it's about the person you've become. Success isn't always measured in money, titles, or recognition. Sometimes success is the peace you carry after a storm. Sometimes it's the confidence you've gained after years of insecurity. Sometimes it's the resilience you show after life has knocked you down again and again. These are forms of success that cannot be denied. Even if people don't applaud you, even if they never say a word, they will notice the strength in your presence. They will see that you are no longer the same person they once overlooked. Think about the story of someone who has been through hardship. Perhaps someone who was told they'd never make it, who was laughed at, underestimated, or even abandoned. When that person rises, not just in visible achievements, but in character and resilience, their very existence becomes a message. They don't need to go back to those who doubted them and say, "See, I told you." Their life says it for them. Their perseverance says it for them. Their ability to shine after walking through darkness says it for them. That kind of success doesn't just speak. It echoes. It resonates far beyond what words ever could. Another reason your success speaks powerfully is because it cannot be taken away from you. People can argue with your opinions. They can dismiss your ideas, but they cannot erase your journey. They cannot erase the nights you stayed up working when no one noticed. They cannot erase the strength it took to keep going when you felt invisible. They cannot erase the progress you made in silence. When that progress finally shows, it is untouchable. It belongs to you, and it becomes the evidence of everything you endured. There is also freedom in letting success do the talking. It frees you from the constant pressure to prove yourself. It frees you from the weight of other people's opinions. You no longer feel the need to announce every step or argue with every critic. Instead, you can walk with quiet confidence, knowing that time will reveal everything. The truth always rises to the surface, and so does the fruit of your labor. Those who doubted you will eventually have to face the reality of who you've become. Not because you demanded their attention, but because your growth made it impossible to ignore. When you allow your success to speak, you also inspire others. There are people watching you right now, silently wondering if it's possible to rise after being underestimated. They may not say a word, but they are looking to see if it can be done. Your journey becomes evidence for them too. Your strength becomes their encouragement. Your resilience becomes a roadmap that whispers, "If they can do it, so can I." That is the power of letting your life speak louder than your explanations. Success is not something you have to shout about. True success carries its own voice, and it travels farther than you could imagine. All you have to do is keep growing, keep showing up, keep becoming. The time will come when your very presence will be a testimony, when the life you are living will be louder than any words you could ever say.